Hello everyone and welcome to the Military and Monetary YouTube channel and yet another collector's tutorial, or more specific, book reviews. Yay! I really like reference books, and this is something that I do get a lot of requests about on Instagram and on YouTube. East German reference books. Do you know any good ones, etc, etc. So I thought I have a few that I really like, so I'm going to show you, talk a little bit about them, and of course giving them a review. So that's today's episode. Let's begin. Book number 1. Uniformen der Nationalen Volksarmee der DDR 1956 to 86 by Koibke and Kuntz. This is a great book. It looks like this. And this book was actually printed when East Germany still existed in 1990. And it covers, as said, the East German army uniforms between 56 and 86. This is a great book. A lot of text. It requires you to be able to read German, but there are of course a lot of great photos as well. I'm not sure if this book has been reprinted. I don't think so, meaning it's not the easiest piece to get your hands on, but they do show up every now and then on eBay, etc. It didn't take me long to find one. And it features a lot of great color photos of uniforms from the 70s all up to the late 80s. Service uniforms, parade uniforms, officers, generals, etc. It's a great book. It also have a lot of photos, shoulder boards, patches, etc. So I would say that this is a really basic book. Great for everyone collecting East German uniforms. And of course, if you can read German, there's a lot of info. My German isn't great, but I still have learned a lot from it. You also have pictures like these, where to place awards, where and how. How to place insignia, like this one for example, extremely helpful. And since this book was printed in East Germany, you can trust everything is correct. So, excellent beginner's book if you collect uniforms. Book number 2, Militärische Uniformen in der DDR, 1949 to 90, by the same authors as the last book, Koibke and Kuntz. Looks like this. And this book is in some ways similar to the first book, but this one is, what do you say, it's bigger, more info, and it covers the entire existence of East Germany, including the kasernierte Volkspolizei, Deutsche Grenzpolizei, etc. And as you can see, a lot of period photos and a lot of history and info. And you also have more photos of especially earlier headgear. Just going back a little bit. Here, for example, you have KVP, Kasernhetes Volkspolizei, which wasn't featured in the first book. So in that regard, this is a more comprehensive book. And of course you also have all the color photos. A lot of them are similar to the first book. And of course shoulder boards and so on. This book is being reprinted, so it's easier to find, but still quite sought after. So you might have to look a little bit, but they do show up for sale quite often. Also a great book for you collecting uniforms. But what about medals? Well, don't worry, I have books about them as well. But before I continue, if you like this video, please leave a like, please subscribe, leave a comment, and of course follow me on Instagram. I would really appreciate it. Thanks a lot. So, medals. This is an interesting book. Auszeichnungen der Deutschen Demokratischen Republik. Looks like this, by Bartel and Karpinski. As I said, a really interesting book, mainly because it's printed in East Germany. Looks like this, by Militärverlag der Deutschen Demokratischen Republik. Printed in 1979. You have a lot of text, of course, and you have some really great color photos of the high-end, the rare awards, and the more basic ones. Really great photos with a small text describing every medal. And it goes on and on. Not every picture is in color, of course, but the pictures are great. They are big and really high quality. And here you have info about every award. And it goes on and on. Really interesting book, great photos. Of course, it's printed in 1979, meaning that every award instituted after 1979 isn't included. That is, of course, one of the downsides, but overall, a really great book to have. As far as I know, it's not being reprinted, but you can find it online. Let's continue with the medals. And here we have what I would call maybe the holy grail among East German medal reference books. This is the Bartel catalogs. Two of them. These are the ones that I have, and I use them a lot. There are more of them, covering everything from Freie Deutsche Jugend to Rotes Kreuz. These two are the ones that I have so far. They are written by Frank Bartel, the same guy as the last book. And the difference about this one that I really think is great, I mean, the pictures are smaller, they are all in color, however, good quality, but the great thing is this. It doesn't say anything about the medal itself. You might need another book or the internet to find out info and, you know, background info. But this is information about all the types, the variations, and how the medals changed over time. This requires a little bit of skill in German, but it's really not that hard. You have practically every medal, and a few pictures of some prototypes as well. From the high-end awards to the more basic ones. Just continuing. Just to show you a little bit. It's very detailed. So, for example, if you take the Medaille für Teilnahme an den bewaffneten Kämpfen der deutschen Arbeiterklasse in den Jahren 1918 to 23, instituted in 1957, and it comes in 3 different variations, A, B, and C. And then you can read variation A, used from 57 to 58, and what differs A from B and B from C, and so on. And it goes on and on. Very comprehensive. For example, if you collect uniforms and medals and you want to place medals on the uniform, this is a great book to have. How do you know if a medal is from the 80s or from the 60s and so on? Well, using this book. By looking at medals and the details, comparing it to the list, you can pinpoint it to a specific time frame. Very helpful. You also have price suggestions, you could say. They are not always correct, but so far, 2021, they still are fairly correct. But that will of course change. And as you can see, you have all these medals that you don't see that often, all these civilian medals. Very interesting book. This one is the bewaffnete Organe der DDR. Mainly police, prison services, etc. And it features not only medals but different honor gifts and so on. Watches, badges, pins. I'm just gonna go through it to give you a quick look. You have the Dienstlaufbahnabzeichen of all types, which of course is also important to have the right version on the right uniform, depending on age. When looking at it for the first time, it might look a little, complicated. But once you learn to read it, this one to this one, and you have A, B, C, D, blah, blah, blah. you will get a grip of it. And once you do, you can't live without it. Or at least you can't collect without it. Absolventenabzeichen, Schützenschnur. Erkennungsabzeichen, Zollverwaltung, etc. So, these books are highly recommended. They are easy to find online, so go and get one. That leaves us with the most comprehensive reference book set that I have, focusing mainly on one of my favorite areas of collecting, Stasi, the Staatssicherheit. These are the Ralph Picard Stasi decorations and memorabilia, a collector's guide. Books like this. And these books are comprehensive. And there are 3 of them. I'm not gonna go through them all. That would take too long. I'm of course going to show you a little bit. These books, they cover everything, considering Stasi. You have documents, medals awarded to Stasi employees, basically everything. It's very detailed, a lot of pictures regarding signatures, time periods of awards and documents, and of course a lot of text in English, which is great. Period photos. If you have any type of questions regarding something related to the Staatssicherheit, this is the book for you. I mean, look at the details. Even the different types of folders. And this is a really interesting chapter. The Staatssicherheit ID cards. And that was volume 1. As I said, you also have these. You have shoulder boards, tunics, memorabilia, everything you possibly might want to know. They are easy to find. The author sells them. They are, however, quite expensive, so they might not be the first book you buy if you, for example, collect medals. But if you find Stasi interesting, this is something that you most likely would like to have in your library sometime in the future. Before we end this video, if I were to recommend 1 or 2 books to start with, it would be these 2. If you collect medals, get the Bartel catalog, Band 1, the first. It's a great book. And if you collect uniforms, this is a great book to start with. Well, that's it for now. I really appreciate you watching, and I really hope you liked the video. And as I said, if you did like it, please leave a like, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. And of course, don't forget to follow me on Instagram. Thanks a lot for watching. Until next time, bye bye.